Welcome to another episode of the Shy Tea Podcast. My name is Janelle, and today I will be recapping Season 6, Episode 4, One of Them Nights. This episode was a reminder of where I've been and how much I've grown. It had me all over with emotions, in my feelings, and I'm a little triggered. It was a lot to unpack. But overall, it was a great episode. So sit back, relax, get whatever you need to get comfy, and let's dive in. We see Kevin and Emmett at the tuck shop trying to get Kevin a suit for prom. And I just can't believe that one, we're at prom already. These kids were in, I would say junior high school. They were in junior high school when we met them, but they've grown so much. So I feel like a proud auntie. Emmett is pretty much saying, no, this is not the tux jacket for you because it's wearing you. Kev tries on the suit. He looks damn good. He is cleaning up nice. Emmett is asking him who his prom date is going to be, and that's when Kevin stated that him and Maisha made it official. They are officially together, so they're pretty much going out public for prom, and I'm so excited for them. I can't wait to see what everybody's wearing. It's good to see all of this. But in the meantime of them, getting the suits, Emmett does offer to pay for the suit. But Kevin is like, listen, I got the money. I'm cool. And there may be even more opportunity for me in the future if I move to LA. Instantly, my brain starts moving because I'm like, I hope Kevin is not leaving the show. But I'm going to stay calm and watch the rest of this episode. But it's giving me they setting up Kevin to leave the show. And I hope that's not the case because I really love his character. But I'm also happy that he's gotten an opportunity, to be sponsored by a team in LA. They will put him in a house, they'll give him a car and set his events up. This sounds like an opportunity for a lifetime. And I honestly was very shocked to see Emmett's standpoint on this. Like, I thought out of all people, Emmett would be the one to be encouraging him to get up out of Chicago because it's so hard to, establish what he was trying to obtain. Emmett had a lot of struggles with, trying to provide the stability and he was looking for opportunities. So I was very shocked when he, tried to discourage Kevin, but Kevin just left it in the air as if, listen, I'm not decided. I'm just trying to explore my opportunities and just see where things could take me. And I'm happy that he's exploring that. This episode got me so excited. So, of course, when prom season is full in effect, that means that there's going to be some prom proposals. So, we're at Smokey's. Kenya's walking in for her shift. Things look kind of off because she's not seeing anyone, but Papa pops up from behind the counter with flowers, balloons, and a big sign that says Anita prom date. Oh, I love the pun. That was so super cute. He knows that she loves Anita Baker. They do have, their common ground with that. So I thought that was so cute how he incorporated Anita prom date. She said yes. She said yes. I'm still on the fence about Kenya, but I'm happy she's agreed to go to the prom with Papa, and I know that made his day. She gives him a little kiss, and you could tell he's just so excited. So we're back at the tuck shop. Kevin and Emmett are still discussing, his potential moves to LA. And Emmett is still trying to convince Kev to stay in Chicago. He states that, if we all leave, who's going to be left? I get the mentality that, you want to build a legacy, but sometimes it really takes you taking a leap of faith and doing something different to, excel your life, your career. And I don't think Kevin has really thought past this point, but I know he's just in that mindset of I'm trying to explore the opportunity. I haven't made a decision yet, and you're not making it easier for me. Bakari is in the garage with Duda, and there's so many high luxury cars in the garage today. Bakari is just like so excited to see all the toys out, and he gravitates to the Lamborghini Jeep. Duda's there with this his big old happy dad moment smile, and he was like, well, this could be your chariot for the weekend. And Bakari is just geeked out. He's like, Lene is going to freak when she sees this. She's really going to give him some brownie points when she see this car, if you get what I'm putting down. But he's so excited. He sees a car, and Duda was like, but hold on 1 second. Come with me. I need to show you something. And here we go. He opens up the trunk of the Lambo. Um, and we look and see what's in the trunk, and there goes that damn bag of guns again. Tired of seeing this damn bag of guns. But Duda uses this opportunity to be like, listen, I thought you said you was gonna take care of this. If you saw last episode, Bakari was trying to get Shad to take the bag of. Shad was like, hell no. But Bakari insisted that he was gonna talk to him and handle it. Bakari says that he's been calling, but he hasn't been answering, but he's still going to figure this out. And Duda was like, listen, you better figure it out fast. Because if you don't figure it out tonight, it's going to be me and my bitch in this car. Like, Duda's like, I'm going to get my way. I'm leaving here with something. Bakari puts his head down, but he's like, I got you. I'm going to get it. He throws the keys at Bakari's. Bakari catches them and they go about their business. Now, y'all know I love whenever Cairo shows up on the scene. This time around, we see Tiff examining some nuggets that he has since grown, and she is just so anxious for her harvest to look just like this. And Cairo's just encouraging her to, remain patient and understand that in a couple of months, she's going to be in this position where she will have her own. In walks Dante, and they're bantering a little bit. She's trying to determine what he's doing there, but he's reminding her that, hey, I'm the one who introduced you to this connect. That's the only reason why you even here. So don't be questioning me. So they're talking, but then you hear a loud bang, like some glass breaking, and they all run outside. That's when Tiff realizes that someone stole her car and they was driving off as she got out there. At this point, Dante is like, I think I may know who's involved with stealing your car. If you want to find out, just hop in and let's go. This scene got to me. It really did. Keisha is at work and is greeted by the teacher, Miss Berry, that we saw in the beginning of season 6 that interviewed her. And she asks Keisha to sit down so that they could have a discussion. And Miss Berry begins to speak on how they have been, battling issues with budget cuts. And because of the budget cuts and because of the inconsistencies of Keisha being late and having to leave early to support her family, they couldn't really justify them keeping her. So Keisha just lost her job. And in this moment, oh, this took me someplace because at one point in time, I got laid off from my job. So I know how it feels to, have the wind taken from you, especially when you thought you was about to finish your day. And then if you know that you're going to cut me, if you know you're going to lay me off, why have me use my good gas to come in here? Send me an email, give me a phone call or something. You got me coming in here thinking I'm about to go through my day as normal just to let me know that I'm losing my job. I know that's a mouthful, but it just took me someplace. Because y'all know this gas is not cheap. And y'all going to have me drive up here just to tell me I no longer have a job. I really felt for Keisha in this moment. I really, truly did. And I think Miss Berry got a kick out of telling her, I'm not going to even hold you. I really think she was like, yeah, she's out of here. Because remember, Keisha challenged her in the beginning of the season, and I don't think it was in a bad way, but I could see Miss Burry celebrating. Tiff and Dante arrive to the location in where Dante thinks they're stealing cars. Rob is there to greet her and to check up on his girl as he should, and that's when they learn that it's Duda's shop. Off rip, they're already pissed because one, they're working with Duda, so in a perfect world, this shouldn't happen. If I'm working with Duda, the last car that needs to be stolen is my girl's car. So Rob is in there and he's trying to figure out what's going on with these minions and why this even happened. He's telling them and checking them that, y'all better not do this again. Y'all better memorize this license plate, the car, whatever you need to do to get it in your brains that this car should not be touched is what needs to happen. And y'all also need to come up on this money to repair the glass. And in that moment, how Duda looked at him, he was like, see, what you not gonna do? Duda was like, you not gonna talk to me crazy. You talking to me crazy, I get you upset, but what you're not gonna do is this right here. You could take the funds for the repairs out of the next drop, but this right here stops. One thing Duda not gonna let you do is talk to him crazy. And then every time somebody do talk to him crazy, I get scared. I get scared for them in that moment because the way he took out the chewing gum guy, he gonna take you out that fast as well. So Rob is just doing what he got to do. He protecting his girl. Like, this is my girl's car, and we work for you. So y'all better get this together. So they go about their business. Dante stays behind and he's talking to Duda for a little bit. And you can tell that they've known each other and they haven't seen each other for a while. So their paths have crossed. And Dante is bringing up the conversation with Duda about these your boys being greedy. So many cars are coming up missing. And at some point, somebody's going to have to explain this. Jake is walking into the kitchen and Victor is having breakfast and also watching the news on his iPad. Now, Jake walks in with these two-tone pants. One side is white, one side is black. And I just think it's so dope that he makes his own clothing. He's trying these pants out for prom just to see if this is the vibe that he wants and how he feels in them. But he takes a seat and he starts talking to his brother. And at this point, we hear a segment on the news of them talking about the new city council, Victor Taylor, and how he can fill the shoes of his predecessor. He has a lot of shoes to fill, and they're trying to see how he's going to amount to, the city's expectations. In that moment, that's when Victor, closed the iPad, and Jake looked at him like, hey, you're right. I thought you were happy. And Victor was like, yeah, I'm happy. I just don't want people to lose trust in me just because I'm a politician. And Jake, he understands that. And he's like, listen, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to have a lot of expectations for you. But all you really need to do is do the best that you can. You know, you can't please everyone. And Jake is dropping wisdom today. Jake storyline has been written so well. He has grown so much. So in this moment to be that big little brother, I love to see it. He's letting Victor know, like, really, you can't please everyone and don't drive yourself crazy. As long as you're putting your best foot forward, that's all that we can expect from you. The ones that truly love you. So Maisha and Lene are getting ready for prom. Maisha's doing Lene's nails and she's asking about all the final details for prom, like what are Lene and Bakari wearing today? What colors are they wearing? And that's when she learns that they didn't really discuss this. Now, not everybody's that goes that hard on prom, so I get that they may have some reservations. I mean, at the end of the day, he is running the streets, so I'm sure prom is not the first priority that he has. But Lene says, yeah, we haven't determined what colors we're wearing, but I'm not really worried about our outfits. And Maisha's like, okay, so if you're not worried about the outfits, then what you worried about? Lene is worried about Bakari meeting her brother Jamal. Her brother wants to meet him before prom. And Maisha, she was like, there go these big brothers always trying to run some boyfriend away. And Lene is just concerned that her brother may come from a place of judging Bakari. And Maisha's just encouraging her to say, I just hope that he does, make this quick and easy. But you can also remind him that street dudes, they're not necessarily doing it because they want to, they're doing it because they had to. So she's just trying to be a supportive friend. She hooks up her nails, and Lene looks at them and she's like, oh, these are nice. These are really nice. Emmett is dropping off EJ at Tiff's house, and in the process, he sees that her window was broken. So, of course, that raised some red flags. So, he wants to ask Tiffany. So, as he's dropping off EJ, he asks Tiffany to stay behind so he could talk to her. She informs him that someone tried to steal her car, and he quickly felt some type of way because she didn't tell him. But she had to remind him, like, yo, you are not my man. I got a man. So, no, you're not the person to call. And the fact that Emmett thinks that because he bought her this car that he's entitled to that information is crazy to me. And the main reason why I was saying that he shouldn't even buy her car in the first place. Because the lines are blurred. Like, you are no longer her man, sir. Take a seat. He then hears that, so he's like, what happened? She was like, well, Dante said that he had an idea of who was stealing cars, so he took me to go get it, and that's how I got my car back. And the minute that he heard Dante's name, I promise you I started cracking up because it reminded me of a woman that her husband came home with some crazy story like, I'm in a hospital and Tracy told me that he said probably sentences on top of sentences, and all she is worried about is the word Tracy. She got a million and one questions about Tracy. We don't care if you're missing a leg, we don't care if you're missing a finger, but we heard that Tracy was with you in the emergency room and we trying to figure out who the hell she is. That's what Emmett was giving me in this moment. He heard Dante's name in spaz. Now, if you can recall, when Emmett and Tiff were still together trying to work out their marriage, Tiff requested an open relationship. And that's where Dante came into play. So he has some mixed feelings about Dante. So I get it. She explains that when they got to the garage, they realized that it was Duda and that Rob and them handled it. But he also wasn't concerned about, her well being. Like, you're not even asking if I'm fine, if I'm okay. You just worried about why I was with Dante. That's what he was worried about. Why are you with Dante? At this point, he learned that Tiff is trying to grow her own weed and that's how she was connected to Dante at this moment. But she's trying to, make her own and get her own plug. Yes, she's using Duda right now, but not for much longer. In this scene, I think it reiterated to Emmett like where they stand at this point because you in a whole nother relationship. You bought a whole nother house with Keisha. And the fact that you think that just because you got this woman a car, she's supposed to call you when things go left, like no. And I like the fact that Tiff even made it clear to him, like, listen, you are not my protector, so stop. Like you got your own chick to worry about. Lene and Bakari are all posted up on the Lamborghini Jeep. They look so cute. They really do. Like, I like them together. I just don't like the circumstances. Lene starts to ask Bakari about where he got the vehicle from, just to see what's going on. So Bakari is like, listen, I just got it from a friend. And she's like, what friend? He said, I got a rich friend that let me borrow it, for the weekend. And that's when he starts to ask her about what she wants to do at the prom. He has a friend that, has a house in the suburbs that they could kick back at. And she's like, yeah, I'm down with going as long as you're not expecting anything, if you know what I mean. But Bakari at this point, He's in thought, but he then says the three magic words. Like in this moment, he tells Lene that he loves her, and I was so like, oh, the little puppy love. But I just really hate the circumstances of it all. She tells him that, I love you too. And we're going to see how their night unfolds. Emmett walks into the door, and Tiff is just sitting on the couch, and you could tell she's just not having a good day after hearing the news. She's in thought while folding laundry, and Emmett is still coming down from all the shocking news that he just witnessed. Like, he comes in and he's like, how come nobody told me Tiff is starting to grow her own shit? And she also got robbed by Duda and his boys today. Keisha does ask, is she okay? What happened? And Emmett is like, well, she's cool about it. Well, she's not necessarily cool about it, but she not even really stressed about it. She got the car back, and he just still shocked. Keisha lets Emmett know that she lost her job today. I know this struck a nerve with her because he said, well, at least you ain't got to be so overwhelmed anymore. Ooh, I just wanted to grab my hand in that screen and just be like, hello, it's because of your ass. I've been overwhelmed because I've been helping you. That's part of the reason why they couldn't justify me staying. Yes, it was due to budget cuts, but also if they wanted to fight for me, they couldn't because I was either always late or having to leave early to help support you. And in that moment, he was just like, you could get another job. And she's like, it's just not that simple. Like, she really found something that she was passionate about. She found something that she looked forward to, and it's gone. And no, it's just not easy. Just get up and get another job. But she also states in this moment that I just need you to stop leaning on me so much. And that spoke volumes. But it also speaks to the type of man that she has. Because in this moment, it was just triggering me because I know what it feels like to wear so many hats and to feel like no one is pouring into you at all. And it feels like the world is just falling in and caving on you. So in this moment, Emmett is like, then just say that. But I can relate to Keisha in this moment when she says, if you see me overwhelmed, if you could articulate that you see me overwhelmed, then why don't you extend the initiative to help? Why do I have to vocalize the obvious? I totally related to that. Keisha just wants the support of her man. That's all she wants. And she says in the statement, I'm not about to be sitting around at home letting the world pass me by while you out here living your best life. Like, if we eliminate all the issues, the main issue she having is that during this process of him excelling his business, he has not been present, causing me to pick up on your slack, causing me to be overwhelmed. And this is the effect of that. I lost my job. Shad and Darnell are coming out of a building and they got their tool belts on. So is this the black maid service? I'm just trying to figure out. But at least Shad is on the job. That's what I was excited about. I was excited to see them walking out looking like they had a long day. Darnell hands Shad an envelope with $100 in it. And Shad at this point was just so disappointed. He thought he was going to get way more than that. I don't know how much he was expecting, but he was pissed off at that $100. He said, we've been in here all day and this is all. But Darnell's trying to let him know, like, yes, this is slow money for now, but if we get a couple of guys and really, put in the work, this could be a really good business. But he also asks him, like, what were you expecting? Like, why are you not happy about this? And Shad is just like, listen, man, I'm just really sick and tired of, not being able to make his ends meet, like not being the breadwinner, not being able to provide for his lady. And Darnell said something very important and valuable for Shad, and I hope that he takes heed to this. But Darnell says, we've been conditioned to think that we have to be the protector, we have to provide, we have to give all the means, but there's sometimes where our women can be better off than us at that moment. That doesn't mean that you're less than a man. It just means that, okay, if she has a leg up, sometimes you may need to take the back seat and support her in this manner. But what was important with what he said was, and if you have a problem with doing that, you need to speak up. That's where I was like, yes, this is some great advice. Because it seems like he has a problem with taking the back seat. And your problem with taking the back seat is going to be your demise, because that is where the decisions that you're making is coming into effect. This opportunity that him and Darnell are working on, it can be really good for them if he really just change his perspective and look at it as a business opportunity of something that they can grow together. Gemma's in her bedroom and she's trying on a dress that she just received to just see if this is going to be her look for prom. And she's not liking it, and neither is Tiara. Tiara comes walking into her bedroom and she's like, that dress is hideous. And Gemma's like, yeah, I know, but she needs a dress for that night. Like, prom is tonight. So Tiara offers to take her shopping to get a prom dress. And we see Marcus in the background outside of Gemma's room. And he's smiling because he sees this as an opportunity for them to potentially bond and for the tensions of them two to die down by having this day together. Keisha went to her mom's house to pick up Ronnie, and she overhears Dre and Nina arguing about Dre texting her ex late at night. When they were going back and forth, Nina was saying things along the lines of, like, you shouldn't be texting people that you used to fuck at any times of night. And while Keisha's overhearing what Nina is saying, she also hears Nina say the same exact thing that she said to Emmett. I'm not about to be sitting around at home while you out here living your best life. And in that moment, Keisha was like, oh my God, I am my mother. Like, I really am my mother. She walks in. That's when they realize that she was standing there. Nina says, I'm going to go get Ronnie. Keisha sat down and started talking with Dre. Dre made it very clear, listen, I'm sorry you had to hear that. You know, I am not doing anything inappropriate with my ex. We just been kicking it a little bit, but there's nothing inappropriate happening. Keisha says, I believe you. Dre could see that something is up with Keisha, so she asks her what's wrong. And Keisha lets her know that she lost her job due to budget cuts. And in the process, she's asking Keisha, so how do you feel about it? Keisha let her know that she feels like a failure. She feels like she just can't get anything right. And based off of those words, Dre was like, how are your sessions with therapy going? Like, how are you holding up with that? And Keisha was just saying, like, I couldn't stay on top of it, but in this conversation, Dre is just letting her know the values of it and how, in order to seek the change that you need, you really need to become consistent with therapy. And she refers her to a new therapist that she thinks Keisha will like and encourages her to speak to someone. When I tell you Bakari's trying to unload these guns for this car, with a vengeance he is. Because he chose violence when he went to Jaja's house to see Shad and try to hand him over the guns. Bakari said, how long you going to be a kept man? He knew that was going to strike a nerve. He knew that was going to strike a nerve. He really went for a juggler to get him to get these bags. So after he said how long you gonna be a kept man, you know, Bakari is like, listen, where's the guy that was helping me out in the beginning? And Shad, to his defense, was, I was helping you out, yes, but the right way. I wasn't trying to get you to hide guns and giving you stacks of money and saying that, oh, everything's gonna be good. No, I wasn't doing that. I was helping you in a good way. Bakari finally gets him to take the bag. He gives him two stacks and he gives him the bag of guns. Okay. It was this moment right here that I was just like, come on now, Shad. This the best you could do, Shad. Like, there's moments where I be rooting for you, and there's moments where I just want to knock you upside your head. Cause why was the best place to hide these guns in the living room in that van? Out of all places. I don't know the layout of the place, but she don't got no basement. She don't got no common area that is barely going into. Like, you put it in the living room where we chill, relax, and all of that. Oh my goodness. I know that's gonna blow up. I know that's definitely gonna blow up in his face. And I think it's gonna happen next episode because lately we haven't been even having to wait long. Stupid. I can't believe he did that. Marcus will be so happy to see this. The ladies are out, and it looks like they're getting facials. And Gemma is having a heart to heart with Tiara, just trying to see how she really feels about her dad. So she asks Tiara, do you really like my dad, or you just using him? And Tiara was like, listen, I've been with way more powerful women and men to have to use your dad. So she's just saying, listen, I'm here for love. I'm not here to use him. And she also says that, we just been tired of running from love all our lives and we want to make something real. And they hold hands for a little bit, and Tiara looks at her and she says, it's really hard trying to find love after you've been hurt so many times. And Gemma's like, yes, but when you meet somebody that changes your mind, it's definitely a good thing. So they relate on that. They still have a little bit more small talk, but they start talking about prom and her dates. And Gemma's like, listen, I'm just happy I got a man, so I ain't got to worry about who's taking me to prom. And she asks about Jake and sees how they met. And that's when she learned that Gemma was sort of dating his best friend. Like, that's going to be your story that you telling people. Find another one. I don't like it. It's funny, but I don't like it. Y'all, this scene had my mouth to the floor. Because I don't know what Emmett was thinking. I don't know if he thought that his presence in this scene was going to let Duda know that he about that life. I don't know what he thought the outcome was going to be, but I'm sure he didn't think what just happened was going to happen. So Emmett storms into the Minions playground, the garage. That's what that is. So if y'all hear me say playground, I'm talking about the garage, okay? So he storms into the playground and he's looking for Duda. Hot on 10. Because he needs to find out why the hell did somebody steal my baby mama's car. Duda approaches Emmett and he's like, listen, shorty, you a day late and $1 short. Two other dudes came to handle her problems. I apologize that she didn't think you was the man for the job. When I tell you, Duda will make you feel so small. Okay, two other people came and handled her business yesterday. He shooed Emmett away. And in that moment, Emmett should have just turned around and exit stage left. But he still had to persist and keep going. And he cursed Duda out. Nuck is trying to get him to chill. Like, and the crazy thing is, I don't know why Emmett even thought he was going to get somewhere in this conversation because you were there. Emmett was there for the gum chewing incident. So why would you think that you could just walk up on Duda and tell him about himself? Duda looks at Emmett like, oh, where you want to take it there? Okay, cool. He puts his hand out, Nuck gives him the gun, and Duda puts the gun up under his neck, under his chin or whatever, and holds it there. Like, he really sunned him, okay? Emmett probably needs some Depends. He probably shitted on himself. He didn't even think that this was going to go this way. People probably thought that was Emmett's last chance. That was his last moment of life. But Duda lets him go. Emmett was shaken up and he leaves as well. Like, Duda really was like, you keep playing with me, I'll show up at your repast with gators and a pinky ring on. Yo, he is disrespectful. Duda is really disrespectful. I don't know what Emmett was thinking, yo. And I bet you he went there not even strapped. Well, Darnell probably still got it, but what was he? I want to know what he truly was thinking. Why he thought that whatever he was going to say was going to have due to checked. I don't know. Papa's dad walks into his room as he's getting ready for prom, and his dad is, just laying the laws of the land, just telling him that, when you're out of this house, just keep in mind that you are the representation of me. Whatever you do reflects on me. So I need you to stay godly and stay in control. But we know Papa's in that rebellious stage. He's in that stage of just trying to see where he is in this world and how he aligns with the word. And his answers is like, you 5 minutes away from getting popped in the neck by me if you keep talking to me sideways. Because when his dad said you need to make sure you godly, Papa's response was, do I have to? So he's making sure, like, he's speaking his mind, but I think he's gonna overstep again with his dad shortly. Bakari walks in, he's looking sharp. They all look amazing. They cleaning up nice. Bakari's looking in the mirror, going over his suit in all black, but he also has a lot of concern that Pastor Jackson picked up on, and he's trying to determine what's bothering him. Bakari lets Pastor Jackson know that his prom date wants him to meet her brother. And he's just scared that, he's going to try to punk him or make him look bad. And Pastor Jackson gave him some advice. He gave him three things to focus on for the conversation. And you could tell that the advice that he gave him meant the world to Bakari. He's never had that type of male figure to give him those pointers. So I know he gave him some confidence to leave the house with to meet Jamal. Here are the three things that he said: always look him in the eye, extend your hand first, and when you walk away, do it with confidence. Know that you said all that you need to say and that you're confident with how you presented yourself today. They finish up by taking pictures before they go to the prom send off. Keisha gets home and Emmett has a drink, okay? Emmett is clearly rethinking his life choices. He's clearly rethinking what just happened. And he, I'm sure, is just thankful to be alive right now because he came so close to death. So he's sitting there looking just like that. And Keisha could tell, she's like, are you okay? Because you don't look well. And he insists that he's okay. They continue to talk. And this is where Keisha uses this opportunity to inform Emmett that she thinks she needs to get back into therapy. Although I have you and Tiff to talk to, she needs a professional to speak to. And in this moment, Emmett kept thinking it was about him. And again, I can relate. I've been in a relationship before where I was trying to speak about, the things that I was needing and the help that I needed, but it always turned on about them. Like, it's not about you. In order for us to have a thriving relationship, I have to excel individually as well. You have to keep that in mind. Explains to him that, yes, I'm taking therapy and there's a lot that's been going on and I'm really committed to us. I'm really committed to this family, but I need to be on a better page. I really do. And I feel that you do as well. So that's when she used that opportunity to see how he felt about going to therapy individually on a one on one basis. And he mentioned that, I'm cool on that. I do have group therapy with Victor and all of that. And Keisha's like, yes, group therapy is effective, but one on one therapy does go much further and it hits different. He declines, but you could tell that this conversation probably won't end here. That she'll probably pick it up again just to, go over how it's been for her, and he'll probably see the changes that it's made in her life to bring balance, and he may want to do counseling individually one day on his own. We're at the lovely household of Gemma, and Tiara is super excited. Marcus is on the couch reading the paper, and she lets him know that, okay, she's ready. She's coming down, put the paper away, and get ready to bask in her beauty. Gemma begins to come down, and by the look on this man's face, he is not pleased. He is not happy, nor does he like what she's wearing. Before she could even get her excitement out, Marcus is like, you need to go upstairs, you need to take some of that makeup off, and you need to change your outfit. But I also think that the dress was very inappropriate. I really do think that. But I think that it could have been maybe handled different. Like, why are we taking the moment right before prom to do this? Like, we know that she had another alternative and it didn't go well, but it just sucks to have this moment of joy to be taken away. So Gemma goes upstairs to follow directions, but Tiara just lets Gemma know that she'll talk to him. And she tried. She really tried. She said, Gemma is a young woman that should be able to express herself. But Marcus is like, no, my daughter is not leaving this house looking like that. She's not looking like a little whore. And in that moment, I knew those words was going to bite him. Because when Gemma really came down initially, like before his reaction and everything, I really thought that she looked like Tiara's mini me. She looked like she was really dressed by Tiara. Like they went to the same store she shops from. Her hair was the same, the type of makeup. She just looked like a mini me. So when he said, I don't want my daughter out here dressed like a whore, I knew that Tiara was instantly going to be offended. Because if you're calling your daughter a whore because of what she's wearing, then what does that say about me? How do you think about me? So I hope that they can resolve this issue, but it didn't end well. It really didn't. We see all the boys hanging out waiting for their dates to be ready. Jake got a text message from Gemma about her running late because she has some dress issues, and we know what that issue was. Um, they're trying to figure out who Kevin is taking to the prom because he's just been oh so secretive lately. They don't know who this girl is, and they're just trying to figure it out. And he's saved by the bell when Papa gets a text from Kenya. And Kenya is like, listen, it's an emergency. I can't make it to prom. But after prom, you could come here. She has the house to herself. Um, and Bakari said something, and this is how boys do. He was like, well, maybe she's with her real dude tonight. And Papa was like, nah, 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 that's not the case. She told me to come after prom. That's when we gonna do some grown up things after. Like I'm gonna finish with y'all kids now, but after that's when we gonna get to some things. So the moment is here, what we've been preparing for all episode, prom, send off. This right here, I was emotional, I'm not gonna lie. This episode had me all up and down. But this is a big accomplishment. This is a big day for them. You have family and friends surrounded them just to see how they look, to take pictures, to celebrate them, to show the love, and you could really feel that in the scene. Everyone is rooting on them. They're looking expensive. They're looking sharp. Everyone's looking absolutely gorgeous, and it just made me think about me going to prom and me getting ready for prom, how I felt at that age. Like, this show gives me nothing but nostalgic vibes. It made me think about how my whole high school, I swear, out of all hairdressers there was, I don't know what it was, but I don't know why it seemed like the whole senior class girls was getting their hair done at the same spot I was. Had me late and everything for my send off. Now, my send off wasn't as extravagant as this, but I just got that good feeling. Like, it just made me silly happy just to see them on the send off. Emmett and Keisha are there, and they're looking a little lighter after their conversation. Gemma, she's in a different dress, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, I like the alternative. The cars was nice. Everything was a vibe. And then I started seeing some feedback from what they felt about what Kevin was driving. Now Kevin owns his car, people. Let's get that together, okay? Because y'all so quick to say, oh, everybody had the high end cars and Kevin had this. There's a huge difference between ownership and borrowing. Kevin gonna have his car come tomorrow. I love to see the joy on their faces. I love to see the interaction between Jamal and Bakari. They finally got to have the conversation, and Jamal was just like straight up, straight to the point. Like, listen, my dude, you got one job, and that one job is to make sure that you protect my sister, that she's safe, and that you don't get her involved in any of your bull. Like, she is all I got, and I don't want to have a conversation with you later about this. Like, protect her. That's your job. The plot continues to thicken. We see Alicia and Bianca having a conversation over drinks and cigars. And we learn in this moment that the lounge that Duda has been using is Bianca's lounge that Alicia had contributed to financially to help bring it to life. Now, we've learned that Bianca has since paid off her debts for this establishment, but somehow Alicia thinks that she's still some sort of silent partner and she thinks that she should know the ins and outs of this establishment. She uses this opportunity to raise some alarms of the rumors that she's been hearing about how this place has become a hangout place for hoodlums and gangs. Bianca was taken aback by the statement because she felt as if her mentioning hoodlums was a dig to Duda and what role he plays in her establishment. And Alicia is like, listen, yes, I'll allow him in our establishment. And Bianca's like, no, 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 ma'am. This is my establishment. And we're doing just fine. You ain't got to worry about what's going on here. Like, Duda's only occupying this space when the business is closed. And I'm not worried about this place becoming a place for um, hoodlums and gangs. Alicia is like, well, I know all about Duda. He used to work for my brother. Bianca was so cold when she said this, but she said, yeah, I did hear about your brother, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I could feel the coldness in her when she said that. And in that very moment, that's when Alicia realized that she learned all that she needs to know. Like, she learned who ended her brother's life. So now she's like, okay, I'm coming back for you. And that's when she mentioned to Bianca that, listen, you owe me a favor, but you gonna know when I'm gonna need to cash in. You definitely gonna know when I need to. We're finally at the prom, and everyone is looking absolutely gorgeous. Like, everyone understood the assignment. The venue is beautiful. I love the look of it. Um, the music was on point, and we see Maisha won prom queen, Jake won prom king, and the party is just lit. Like, this is just such a vibe. It gives me again memories about my prom and how we danced the night away and just celebrated in this big accomplishment. But we pan over to the boys having a conversation. It was Papa, Jake, Kevin. They're pretty much on cloud nine, and they're in the cut on the upper level where they're having a discussion. And I love the scene how they was looking down over the party, but you know, talking about Kevin and his opportunity that he has to move to LA. And this scene is the example of how true friends are supposed to support you, how they're supposed to uplift you and encourage you. And I love to see it, especially when we saw them so many years ago and how they started. So to see them here in this moment, it really just put a smile on my face. Papa was really taken aback. He really was shocked that Kevin had this opportunity, and he was just worried about all the people that he can potentially leave behind. He was saying, what about your friends? What about Maisha? What about your family? What about everyone? And Jake is like, we all gonna be here. Ain't nobody going nowhere. So if this is an opportunity that he truly wants, let that solely be his decision. And don't make this decision based off of anybody else. If you're going to stay here because of you. Stay here because you want to, not because you're fearful of about how I'm going to feel when you leave or how we're going to be when you leave. So I was here for Jake all episode. Like, he was dropping gems, words of wisdom, and showing just a lot of growth of how far he's come. After they finish chopping it up, they head downstairs to join the rest of the party just to continue taking pictures and partake in the festivities. Like, they had a really good time. And this just made me think about my idea that I've been having for a long time. Like, I've always wanted to do an adult prom, but I always just wanted to, I like the idea of just getting dressed, formal attire, killing it. So, who coming to my adult prom? Y'all let me know. Victor, Fatima, Marcus, Tiara, Shad, Quincy, and Darnell, they're all in attendance, just celebrating the winning of City Council, Victor Taylor. It's just a small, intimate gathering just for Quincy to express how he truly loves this working relationship and how they will continue to work together to do great things while they're in office. There is a knock at the door, and I was shocked, y'all. I'm not going to even lie. This is the last thing I expected. We see Duda's realtor, DeAndre, walk in, the one that helped Emmett buy the house. And Quincy introduces him as his fiance. I was shocked. And when I tell you, Jada would be shocked to hear that too, because Jada was all on his neck trying to get him to hook up with Tracy. But when he said he was off the market, that's what he meant. He's dating Quincy. DeAndre got there a little late, and Quincy is like, "Hey, you missed the speech and all of that." And DeAndre's flirting with him, saying, "I mean, well, you could do it again for me when we get home." They kiki for a little bit, and Quincy's like, "Okay, let me introduce you to Victor." He brings him over to Victor. He introduces him, and Victor is like, "It's a pleasure to meet you finally." DeAndre in conversation mentions that he's a realtor and he's done a lot of research and he loves this area. He had his eye on this particular house, but he's just like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing and keep it. And he also in conversation mentions that he sold a friend of his Otis a house a little while back, and that's when the eyebrows are raised and they're like, Duda? And he's like, yeah. He gave me a loan when I was trying to come out. He was my first sale and he helped me out tremendously. And I thank him for that. In that moment, Victor was like, what the hell is going on? And he asked Quincy to step aside so they could talk. And in that moment, he said, yo, Duda is dangerous. Like, y'all can't be working with him. And Quincy mentioned that yes, I know he's dangerous, but we haven't had any issues, so everything's been working out for us so far. But he could sense the concern that Victor is giving off, and he was like, "Yo, I can't use any more surprises. What's going on? What are you not telling me?" Victor proceeds to tell him that he helped him get rid of a body. I'm just so over it because I'm like, what part don't you understand? Like, I don't care what his role is. You should not be telling nobody that you saw him throwing away the body. Like, why in this moment did you feel that you had to tell Quincy that you saw or that you witnessed Duda getting rid of a body or you helped him? And then he even had to drag it out you. Like, you just said it easy. Like, this is just a regular conversation. Yeah, I don't know if it's that I got trust issues or what. I think it's probably because I truly, from day one, been saying something's not right with Kenya. But the moment that Bakari dropped off Papa at Kenya's house, I just knew he was dead. I knew it was over for him. I was just getting that intense feeling like, don't touch that door. Don't ring that bell. Don't go, don't go, don't go, Papa, don't go. And in that very moment, I just had a weird feeling that came over my body. And then they really added to it when they had somebody walk across the screen. I don't know if y'all peeped that, but I'm like, y'all really reaching. Y'all really wanted us to think that he was about to get set up or something. Y'all think y'all low. But to our surprise, Kenya opens the door and the truth of what's been going on with her is revealed. When the door opens, a little boy is at the door, and then we see Kenya come up behind him. And Papa's like, "Oh, is this your little brother?" And she says, "No, it's my son." Wow. We were so far off, y'all. I thought she was an informant. I thought so many things. I had so many scenarios in my head, and not one of them was her being a mom. It's crazy. We're back at the home of Quincy and DeAndre, and they're settling in and unwinding from the evening. And they both got questions for each other at this point. So DeAndre is like, "How well do you know Victor?" And Quincy is like, "How well do you know Otis?" Now we know that Victor had the past of him lying on his campaign, and that's of course what DeAndre mentioned. But these lines are different. Like Victor ain't just going around shooting people for gum chewing, and he also is not a part of all this violence. But Quincy's just coming from a concerned fiance. He warns DeAndre that Otis is dangerous. And I feel as if DeAndre's not naive to that. I think he's privy to the dangers that Duda is about, but he also is like, listen, I'm treading lightly. I'm just taking this one day at a time, but I'm going to be safe. I know that's something he can't promise, but he's aware of Duda's skeletons, and he feels like he's navigating the best that he can. Bakari and Lene, they're cruising in this Lambo. They're having a good time, jamming in the car. And before we know it, it just all goes left when he's taking a turn and we see that a police is pulling them over. Now, this is the last thing I was expecting to happen tonight. And I'm like, not on their prom night, not now. So we see the concern on Bakari's face when he realized the siren's going off and they get pulled over. It could be a mixture of things of why they're getting pulled over. Bakari could have been speeding. Do I think Bakari has license and registrations for that vehicle? No. And I'm sure this vehicle probably stolen. So that's another thing that he could have been pulled over for. And he also could have been pulled over for being black in a nice car. We don't know. But in this moment, all we know is that they got pulled over and we see them at the police station a few seconds later. This scene really broke my heart. It really did. Because not even a few hours ago, he was just promising to her brother that he was going to keep her safe and keep her out of his stuff. But this is just proof that you can't control how involved she is. As long as she's with Bakari, we could only think that she will get involved in his mess. And I felt for Lene because this is the one of the biggest nights of your life. So to have your prom night be cut short and have to be picked up by, Dre and Nina, I I really felt for her. You could see the hurt in both their eyes. And I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, but Lene comes out. She gives Nina and Dre a hug. Then she looks over and you see Jamal there. He puts a jacket on her shoulder, and you could just see in his face like he doesn't want that moment of "I told you so," but you can see he's very disappointed. Bakari comes out and he's meted by Pastor Jackson, and his head is held down. You see how he let down Pastor Jackson, how he let down I think he felt like he let down Jamal, he let down Lene. I think that's what we're getting in this moment. This was a terrible way to end prom night. So I don't know what it's gonna look like for them two. I really don't. But deep down inside, I feel as if Jamal, how he looked at him, I think he looked at him in the way of, I want to help him. Like, I don't want to tear him down, but I want to help him. And I hope that's what that look was for. Bakari's just walking out with his head held down. He's disappointed. And we see the ride home. Um, And both cars are silent. We see Dre, Nina, and Jamal leaving. And then we see Bakari, Papa, and Pastor Jackson in the car, and Bakari just loses it. This is not what I expected. I truly think that those tears are confirmation of how far deep he is and how he does not have control over this life that he's living. I think he truly realizes that he needs to make a change. Fatima and Victor are relaxing on the couch. They're enjoying each other's company, just winding down for the night when there's a knock at the door. And we're greeted at the door by Jason Gorn, who's with the FBI. Like, this came around real quick. He's with the FBI. Fatima's just shocked. She doesn't know what's going on. This is late at night. And he wants to take him in for questioning. So Victor gets his jacket. He tells her everything's okay. And then he heads off to the station. Duda pulls up on Bianca and she informs him that Alicia came to ask some questions today and to check on the establishment. And Duda was curious if she mentioned him or had any questions about her brother. And Bianca lets her know that yes, I gave her my condolences. But she also asks him if he actually did kill Q. And Duda's answer was all she needed to hear. He said, I don't want to answer questions you're not ready to hear." And in that moment she knew that he did, and she asked why. And he said he was just being too messy for me, like we had to eliminate the problem. She wondered, if he was safe, did anybody else know? And if somebody else knows, are they loyal? And Duda mentioned that there was one person that knows, and they better be loyal or else. That's the vibe that I got from him. But they drove off and continued the evening. Keisha has arrived to her first therapy session with the counselor that Dre referred to her. And man, oh man, she asked her one question, and boy, did she give her a fully loaded answer. Like, we knew that Keisha had a lot to unpack, but hearing it out loud, oh, my heart really goes for her. Like, this is a lot of stuff that one person has to endure. The therapist asked, "What brings you here today?" Keisha mentioned she was kidnapped, sexually assaulted. Her son is a product of that assault. She's in a relationship with her high school sweetheart, and he has 3 kids. So they're trying to raise their kids together and try to make some sense of it. She mentioned she just lost her job, how stressed she is, and how it feels like she's spread so thin. She's exhausted, she's confused, she's lost, and she just needed some guidance to make some sense of her life. The therapist reassures her that although this is a lot to deal with, we can help make some balance in your life. We can give you the tips, we can give you the tools to make a better life for yourself, but you also just have to stay consistent and be willing to do the work. This scene, I admired Keisha's bravery so much. Like, I couldn't even fathom, speaking on so many things about myself at once about this. Like, the bravery is huge in the scene, and it's showing people how it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to feel like life is throwing everything at you, but when you're in these moments, help is what's going to help you get through them. Kevin is back at his place with Maisha, and he's using this moment to really pick her brain to see her thoughts on LA and what she thinks. And he begins to ask her what she thought about it, and she said, that place doesn't even get any of my thoughts. Like, I had no reason to. He says, "Well, if your career would be benefited from you moving to LA, would you?" And within a second, she said, "Hell yeah." Like, my family, my friends can't be the reason as to why I don't follow my dreams. We have one life to live, and we need to live it how we see fit. So she would leave in a hot skip and jump. And I think that's everything that he needed to hear and more to help him make the decision. So Keisha gets back from her therapy, and you could tell on her face that she feels much lighter. But that quickly comes to an end when she comes home and she looks like she's about to try to straighten up the living room, and she finds the bag of money. And as Emmett is coming down to ask her about this said therapy session, that's when he realizes that she found the money that he quote unquote tried to hide. Y'all. Now Emmett thought the best place to hide that money was in the living room. Again, why in the common area? Why where all these kids be at? Why where we watch TV? Why where we do everything is where you put it. And then you put it in the storage area of the coffee table. Y'all, I got so many. Like, what's the thought process? I don't get it. Like, this house should definitely have a basement or a closet that's not in the reach of everybody else for your girl to find a bag of money that you're supposed to be hiding. The key word is hiding. You could have dug up some damn grass. You could have did something else, but you decided to leave it right in the living room in the common area. Nincompoop. That's what you really are. He really made me mad in that moment because out of all places, that's where you left it. Shout out to whoever does the interior decoration for the Shy. This episode, it showed so much culture. It showed art. It showed different ways that you can incorporate your living spaces. It gave me even ideas of how I would set certain rooms up. But Kevin's spot is dope. Okay. We get to the scene where you could tell he's thinking, he's in his living room, and I'm just loving the ambiance. It's the feng shui for me. Picks up the phone and he makes a call and he tells whoever's on the end of that phone, listen, I'm ready to take this opportunity. He has never been to LA and he's excited about it. And we end off this episode with just the biggest smile, new beginnings, just so much excitement for Kevin to have ahead of him. I just can't wait to see what happens. But that was an episode. It was so much. It definitely had some tears. Went through a lot of emotions for this episode, but it was really a much needed one. I think so much is going to be continuing to transpire in these next episodes. So here I go. Prediction time. I truly think that Bakari is going to make some sort of life change for the better. Like, I don't think that he's going to continue on the path that we all thought. Now, we all think that he's going to be the next person to fill through the shoes, but after that scene of him being arrested, I don't think the same thoughts anymore. I truly think that he has a big decision to make in between the two lives, and I think that he's going to go in the good side route. I don't know. My gut is telling me that we may have a spinoff. And let me tell you why. So Kevin's gonna go to LA. Maisha, she has aspirations for being a rapper. I feel like this is going to be a great connection for her career. And I think Gemma and Jake's going to go. Jake has this fashion sense of his clothing line that he can thrive pretty much from everywhere, anywhere. But I think LA, with their fashion industry, this is going to be the best place for his company to thrive. Gemma's going to be Maisha's manager, and she's gonna help her career as well in LA. I truly I think I'm liking that. I think I'm liking that. A little spinoff. But then again, I could be reaching. I don't know. These are just the vibes that I'm getting. I'm hoping that Kevin doesn't leave the show, but it's also giving me that vibe as well. I think it could be either or. Either he's leaving the show or there'll be some sort of spinoff to see them, you know, in these new spaces and this new opportunity. You know, people's leave, they're about to graduate from high school and all that. Yeah. Yeah, tell me what you think about that one. I could be reaching. Alicia. Alicia is going to come with a vengeance within the season. Because again, I think that she read in between the lines when she was having that conversation with Bianca about her brother's death. And I truly think that we're probably going to see another scene with Alicia and her son Rob to see what Rob has found out so far and her give him an update about what's been going on. And I think an order is about to be made. Something is going to happen big. Something is going to happen. I just don't know where it's at. Victor, I don't know how he's going to hold up with the FBI. Like, do I think he's going to run telling everything? No. But I do think he'll probably take a deal or he'll find some sort of loophole to get himself out of it to put it all on Duda. Something, something along those lines. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Those are the main predictions that I have. I could keep talking on and on. And I just want to hear y'all chime in. What do y'all think? What's your predictions? How did you like this episode? Comment below and make sure you follow and subscribe the Shy Tea Podcast. Subscribe, let us know what you're thinking, and share, 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 share. You can follow me on Instagram at I'm underscore that underscore dope on IG. Thank y'all for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.